Today's show is sponsored by the Electric Vehicle Association. Join up to support the electrification of transport and get the help you need to finance your own EV or clean energy future. And by Energy Sage. Visit the link in the description to find local, verified solar experts, community projects and heat pump specialists in your area. And by Atmos Financial. Bank better with a financial technology company that's powered by a portfolio of clean energy investments. Welcome back to another episode of TEN, Transport Evolved News. Thanks for joining me. There are some bad news stories in this week's show, but I'm going to try and smush some of them together, so bear with me. Some weeks are unfortunately just like this. For some time now, automakers outside of China have been frustrated by the heavy subsidies that the Chinese government has been offering Chinese automakers to build EVs. These subsidies have enabled Chinese firms to build and sell EVs for export at far lower costs than automakers in other parts of the world, and we've seen concern expressed in many legislatures around the world that this practice threatens the marketplace. This week, the US White House took a step to try and correct the effects of that by increasing the 25% tariff previously imposed on Chinese-made EVs by President Trump to 100% under President Biden, under the guise of protecting the interests of the US auto industry. At the same time, Europe now appears to be considering its own new tariff for Chinese-made EVs of around 30%. It could affect the availability of affordable EVs short term, but expect Chinese firms to circumvent these tariffs by building factories in the markets where they want to sell the cars. After what feels like an age of teasing, Kia has finally revealed the official refresh of its EV6 crossover. At least, it has in its home market of Korea. I would love to show you official video and B-roll, but as of the time of filming, there's none in the US or Europe, and the photos you're seeing here are from the Korean launch. It's all we have. From the outside, you can see some tweaked body panels complete with new fancy lights, but more important is a new 84 kilowatt-hour battery pack, up from 77.4 kilowatt-hours for the current model year, as well as a fingerprint scanner in the cabin for keyless driving, as well as a new infotainment system that finally includes wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. Expect Kia in other markets to reveal official images and video very soon. Tesla confirmed this week that it's actively spending money on trying to convince shareholders to vote in favour of a new proposed $55 billion compensation package for Tesla CEO Elon Musk. The proposal, along with a second proposal to move Tesla's state of incorporation to Texas, came after a Chancery Court judge in the state of Delaware ruled that Tesla's previous remuneration package for Musk, voted on by shareholders in 2018, wasn't properly represented to the shareholders and thus was null and void. In filings with the SEC, Tesla has confirmed it's spending money on targeted ads that it hopes will convince shareholders to approve both proposals, but it's not clear right now how much money Tesla has been spending. For several months now, Oregon startup Arcimoto has appeared all but dead, with its factory shuttered and power turned off. And this week, the NASDAQ stock exchange officially confirmed that it delisted common stock of Arcimoto on May 1st, and it's not traded since. Interestingly, though, shortly after that delisting, Arcimoto's stock ticker appears to have changed from FUV to FUVV, a change we've not been able to get to the bottom of. With media inquiries ignored, the website down, and customers left in the dark, it's not looking good. Given it didn't turn up to defend itself in federal court in Illinois earlier this month, leading to a summary judgment against it for more than $500,000, and other creditors piling up, this appears more than a death watch. In fact, it feels more like a funeral that never happened. Mate Rimac, the CEO of Rimac Automobili, was speaking at the Financial Times Future of the Car Summit this week, and while you would hope that he would be waxing lyrical about the potential of EV market growth, it was something else entirely that grabbed the headlines. Basically, Rimac noted that EVs have become more mainstream, and that's led high-end uber-luxury buyers that were previously stumping down millions on cars like the Rimac Nevera to turn their attention back to internal combustion engines because they want the exclusivity and analogue feel that said vehicles offer. He even went as far to suggest that a future car from the brand might include an internal combustion engine. I wish there was a positive end to this story, but there isn't. The hyper-rich, it seems, wants toys, not a cleaner world for everyone else. There's been a lot of movement this week on the Tesla Supercharger layoffs that occurred earlier this month, so let's give you a bit of an update on what's been going on. First, Tesla CEO Elon Musk announced this week that Tesla will be investing more than $500 million in the expansion of the charging network this year, a surprise announcement given the fact he'd fired all of Tesla's supercharging team just 2 weeks ago. That said, in a move that mirrors past mass firings and rehirings at Musk-run companies, Tesla is now rehiring some of the charging team that it previously fired, with Max Dezenga, previously fired executive on Tesla's charging team, now in a renegotiated position at the firm. At the same time, Tesla appears to have transferred responsibility for its superchargers to its solar and battery storage team, so of course we'll keep you updated on further changes as they happen. This week's show has had some bad news stories in it, but don't worry, because we're about to deal with the last one, a rumoured cancellation of development for a next-generation EV platform at Mercedes-Benz. According to news reporting from multiple sources, Mercedes-Benz's new next-generation platform, known as MB.EA Large, was originally due to debut in 2028 and would have underpinned new next-generation EQS and EQE models for the company. But now it appears that Mercedes-Benz has decided to rethink the matter, saving itself between $4 and $6.5 billion of development costs in the process. The brand had already pushed back its goal of having 50% of its sales be electrified from 2025 to 2030 and has dropped some hints recently that it's not quite ready to go all electric. If this rumour is true, and Mercedes-Benz isn't confirming or denying it, it's bad news all round. In an attempt to encourage customers to sign up for full self-driving supervised, Tesla began offering customers in North America a free 1-month-long trial of the feature starting back in March. But just released data from Yipit Data suggests that of the 3,500 Tesla owners who took Tesla up on the free month-long trial in March, only about 50 actually decided to sign up for the feature after the trial had ended, either through a one-off $8,000 purchase or a $99 per month subscription. While Tesla does appear to dispute this data, we've heard from many of you who have Teslas who tried this feature out, thought it was neat, but given its requirements for constant supervision and some of its operational weaknesses, decided that the price was just too steep. As personally someone with Ford Blue Cruise, I enjoy it, but like many Tesla customers, I just couldn't justify its subscription fee after my complimentary access ends. I'm going to go and buy a AI unit instead. Talking of Ford, the automaker is making some big waves about the impending market launch of its refreshed Mustang Mach E family, which includes the all-new Mustang Mach E Rally. A ruggedized version of the Mach E with some extra beans to boot, the Rally variant will sit towards the top end of the Mach E family, but as it detailed midweek, Ford didn't want to make the Rally variant just look the part. It wanted it to be capable of actually doing off-road rallying too. So after consulting with rallycross experts and drivers, it built its own rallycross course at its Michigan proving grounds to put the car through its paces. It is not going to be everyone's cup of tea, and I'd like to see some more affordable models from Ford, but I would also very much like to try this one out for myself, so watch this space. And finally for the segment, some great news for those watching the electrical grid's transition from fossil fuels to something cleaner and greener, which of course results in cleaner, greener EVs as well. Data just released from the Solar Energy Industries Association shows that there are now more than 5 million solar panel installations across the US, something which it notes has taken about 50 years to achieve. While that feels like a really long time, the SEIA says that it expects the US to reach 10 million active solar installations in just 6 years, doubling by 2030 and tripling by 2034. Moreover, for the first time in 2023, it notes that solar accounted for more than one-half of new energy generation capacity added to the US grid, and by 2050, it predicts that solar is expected to be the largest source of power generation in the US. So I look forward to celebrating that one when I turn 71. And that leads me perfectly to segue into a message from a long-time sponsor of this channel, Energy Sage, a company that can help you be one of those next 5 million solar installations. Energy Sage helps homeowners connect with local, verified solar installers across the US and now heat pump specialists in select markets who really know their stuff and can help you navigate the process of installing solar panels, help you join a community solar program, or in fact get a heat pump installed. I used Energy Sage when we were looking for installers willing to help us put solar panels on the roof of our home, and our Energy Sage verified installers were professional, knowledgeable, and put us in touch with an amazing credit union that allowed us to finance our solar panels for as low a monthly payment as possible. Follow the links below to sign up for either of Energy Sage's free, no obligation services and get that ball rolling today. If you choose to use an Energy Sage installer for your project, we will also get a small referral fee, so you'll be helping out the channel too. Help the grid get greener and save money. It's all win-win. And now it's time for short shorts. Mercedes-Benz is recalling certain 2024 model year e-sprinters due to a potential brake issue with the brake booster that could lead to faulty braking performance. Just under 200 e-sprinters are affected and owners will be notified. BYD has just launched a new EV called the SeaLion 07. I'm not sure why it has that number in its name, but it's a mid-size sportsback SUV that BYD aims to bring to market outside of China in the near future. It will cross-shop against models like the Volkswagen ID.5. A former employee of now defunct e-bike company Sondors claims that the Sondors metacycle, a motorcycle the brand had planned to bring to market, was never actually street legal. The unnamed source told Electrek it was, quote, a freight train wreck turned into a dumpster fire, end quote. If you're in the market for a new Tesla and you're in North America, you might be interested to know it's just launched a new 0.99% interest rate finance package to get you behind the wheel. It applies to Model Ys purchased until the end of this month. As expected, Stellantis has announced a joint venture with Chinese EV company LeapMotor that has seen the two firms establish a new European subsidiary called LeapMotor International. It will be used to sell LeapMotor EVs in Europe. A while ago, we reported a campervan California variant of the ID Buzz wasn't likely going to happen, but now reporting from Auto Express suggests it's maybe still on the table. Speaking to the CEO of Volkswagen Commercial Vehicles, the publication was told the brand is still, quote, waiting for customer response on it, end quote. The Oakland Unified School District in California has become the first school district in the whole of the US to transition its school bus fleet to all-electric vehicles, complete with a robust vehicle-to-grid system that allows the district to earn extra money from operating a virtual power plant with help from school transportation software company Zoom. BYD, leveraging its existing business relationship with battery supplier HuaiHai, has confirmed that the two firms have established a new joint venture for building sodium-ion batteries for use in EVs. While sodium-ion battery cells have a lower energy density than lithium-ion, they're also much cheaper to make. General Motors confirmed this week that Chevrolet's last sedan, the Malibu, will end production this year to make way for the second-generation Chevrolet Bolt EUV. The vehicle will enter production in the next year or so at the Kansas City plant where the Malibu is currently made. Vinfast's latest vehicle, the VF3, was originally unveiled at CES at the start of the year, and this week the firm confirmed it secured 30,000 pre-orders for the tub $10,000 car from customers in Vietnam in less than 3 days. It eventually aims to bring the VF3 to other markets, including Europe and North America. The US Federal Energy Regulatory Commission just announced a new rule that will require grid operators in the contiguous US, minus Texas because Texas has its own grid, to conduct and update long-term grid transmission planning to cover a 20-year ongoing period. Chevrolet confirmed official EPA ratings and specs for its Silverado EV RST this week, complete with 440-mile range on the RST variant and up to 754 horsepower at the wheels. It will begin deliveries later this summer. Aptera published its latest video update this week, confirming that it will soon be closing its Regulation A investment offering after nearly 3 years, and that is engaging with US capital to fund its production plans. It also gave an update on its final pre-production testing. Talking this week in London, Volkswagen's CEO confirmed that the brand is still carefully considering if the ID.1 will become a reality or not. While he appeared bullish on the idea of making an affordable EV to replace the gap left by the E-Up, the ID.1's future is far from certain. 2 important members of staff at Tesla left the company this week, with both the head of Tesla Cybertruck manufacturing and one of the company's leading AI engineers looking for employment elsewhere. It's not clear if they left or if they were asked to leave. Porsche has officially begun production of its all-new Macan EV at its Leipzig production facility. With official sales due to start later this year, Porsche is making a pretty sizable bet that the high-power electric SUV will be a hit with existing and new Macan customers. Volkswagen has confirmed that the US spec ID. Buzz long wheelbase will be offered in 3 different trim levels when it launches later this year: the Pro S, Pro S Plus, and a limited first edition version. Rear-wheel and all-wheel drive variants will be offered, and pricing will follow soon. Ford has apparently made a sizable cut in battery orders for electric cars, following news from its quarterly earnings call that the Model E division loses a lot of money. Ford hasn't officially commented on the news, saying it doesn't comment on supplier relationships. EV sales in the US fell in the first quarter of the year when compared to the previous quarter, with EVs accounting for 7% of all new light vehicle sales versus 8.1% in Q4 last year. A lack of affordable EVs is being blamed for the backslide. Vinfast, which is currently dealing with a new potential safety investigation from NHTSA, announced a new update to its vehicles this week, but rather than be an update targeting its now infamous road manners, it's an infotainment update to include Sony Entertainment movie streaming. Official US EPA ratings have been published for the 2024 Hyundai Kona Electric, fitted with a smaller 48.6 kilowatt-hour battery pack. This is the first time this shorter-range variant has been sold in the US. It's rated at 200 miles, 322 kilometers per charge. Although the new average price of cars jumped 2.2% in April compared to March, the average price of an EV in April remained pretty stable compared to the month previously. New EVs are now, on average, costing 8.5% this year less than they did last. Autonomous vehicle startup Zoox, which is owned by Amazon, is under investigation by NHTSA after 2 separate incidents in which motorcyclists following vehicles hit the rear of the firm's self-driving pods after they encountered sudden, unexpected phantom braking. Luckily, only minor injuries were sustained. Jaguar Land Rover's rebranding into an electric-only company is soon set to begin, but news this week from the firm suggests that rather than be a chance to rebrand as a more affordable version, Jaguar's first EV will cost well over $125,000 US. A trademark filing from Lucid suggests that the firm is planning on using the Earth moniker for its next planned EV, a mid-sized SUV that it hopes will cross-shop against the Tesla Model Y. We have the Earth and the air along with gravity, but guys, I suspect fire should be left on the bench. While Tesla has now pulled out many planned supercharger sites around the world, BP Pulse, part of oil giant BP, told Bloomberg this week that it is very open to the idea of jumping in and acquiring sites Tesla has abandoned for its own network. But really, do we trust BP? BYD has set a new weekly sales record in China, with BYD-branded new energy vehicles accounting for 69,500 registrations in 1 week, more than the number of ICE vehicles the brand registered in the same time. If you're in the US and you're looking for a new EV, you might want to know that Kia is slapping additional discounts onto already heavily discounted models from the brand. Some EV6 and EV9 models now come with $12,000 of discounts in cash-on-hood deals. Commercial EV manufacturer Mullen says it's secured $150 million in capital funding that will allow it to expand its domestic and international sales efforts, while also bringing the recently acquired Bollinger commercial truck to market. UK electric commercial vehicle company Teva has officially become insolvent, filing papers this week to seek the appointment of an insolvency administration. It wants to give itself some extra time through the process to keep options open and ultimately find new investors. Genesis has announced an expansion of its dealer network across the US, with new facilities added to its network of dealers that also expands EV availability into several new states, including Alabama, Kansas, Oregon, and Rhode Island. BMW, working with Parkopedia, has expanded their partnership to give EV drivers additional point-of-interest data that the two firms say further enhance the process of looking for a place to recharge. Only a European service for now. I guess there's potential for expansion. Chinese brand Zeekr, which is part of the wider Geely Group, has officially floated on the US stock exchange. Joining sibling brand Polestar on the stock market, it's hoped that Zeekr will be able to benefit from the additional funding stock markets can bring. But of course, it also adds extra risk. ABB has just unveiled a brand new high-power fast charging station that's capable of providing up to 400 kilowatts of fast charging power through a single connector, or, when two vehicles are connected to its dual-head design, 200 kilowatts per side. And finally, for the shorts, Rivian has confirmed that, like so many other automakers, it will be pushing an over-the-air software update in the coming months to enable YouTube streaming, as well as Google Cast, for its family of R1 electric vehicles when parked. And those are your shorts. There will be more next week. Our final two stories are coming in a second, but first, a quick word from one of today's video sponsors, Atmos Financial. Imagine a bank where your savings not only grow, but also go towards growing a greener world. That is exactly what Atmos Financial does for you. With Atmos, every dollar in your checking and savings account is funding projects that light up lives with solar energy rather than fossil fuels. Atmos is banking that builds a better tomorrow with every swipe of your card, because it's committed to investing 100% into clean, equitable, and sustainable progress. There's a 3.5% savings rate and a mobile app, meaning that your finances and the climate can go hand in hand. It charges no monthly fees, and there are no minimums keeping you awake at night. It offers accessible solar loans for those who want to give the fossil fuel industry the ultimate middle finger, and so much more. By joining Atmos using the link below, you're not only choosing a smarter way to bank, you're planting seeds for a healthier Earth. And every sign-up supports this channel, so we can keep bringing you the content you enjoy. I'm personally a customer, and I love knowing that I'm helping save money while ensuring that my savings doesn't help fund the fossil fuel industry. And now it's time for those last two stories. When Tesla began delivering its Cybertruck, there were some pretty big warnings sent to Cybertruck owners about the penalties that would be levied against them were they to try and sell their Cybertrucks in short order. Tesla even banned some owners who did it from ordering another vehicle. Yet, as Electrek noted this week, there are now 148 Tesla Cybertrucks listed for sale on the Car Guru's website, an astonishing number considering that so far Tesla's volume production hasn't yet reached full swing. That said, thinking back to when Ford launched the F-150 Lightning, there were a fair few F-150 Lightnings being placed up for sale immediately after launch to try and make money, and frankly, there's always someone trying to make a quick buck. In the case of the Cybertruck, though, there are some more sad tales among the listings. Along with the folks who've grown tired of early teething problems with their vehicle, like unexpected breakdowns and long repair times, there are a sizable number of people listing one for sale who recently lost their job at Tesla. Given that prices are much lower than they once were, it's fair to say if you want your own electric cheese grater, now might be the time. And finally, if you watch this channel regularly, you'll know that I and the rest of the team are kind of fond of classic cars given the electric makeover to make them new zero-emission vehicles. And in our time on this channel, we've experienced some of them ourselves, my favourite being an all-electric Morris Minor converted on a budget by London Electric Cars that I drove a few years ago. But the oldest electric vehicle conversions we're aware of date back to early Ford Model Ts, given a new lease of life. But electric boat specialists Torqeedo have managed to convert something far, far older. Berlin's oldest passenger vessel, known as the Kaiser Friedrich. 138 years young, this former twin-screw steamship has had quite the life, first used in its stock form, then decommissioned and turned into offices. Then it was given a new lease of life in the 1980s with diesel engines, but now it's been given twin electric motors and a 400 kilowatt-hour battery pack, which ensures it can keep operating as a city tour craft well into the future. And no, in case you're wondering, I'm definitely not a donut. And on that note, we are in fact done for the day. As always, a massive thank you to the Electric Vehicle Association for sponsoring today's show. They have been advocating for EVs since 1967 and firmly believe that our future depends on us making the switch to clean, green electric cars today. The EVA can help you find someone near to you that can help you make that switch to electric. It can help you become an EV educator, and it can point you in the direction of monthly meetups for like-minded EV fans. Plus, if you become a member, you'll gain access to a clean energy and EV loan program set up between the EVA and the Colorado Clean Energy Credit Union. So find out more by heading to myeva.org. And thanks to Energy Sage. Follow the link below to find out how easy it can be to get verified, trustworthy solar experts helping you make that step towards energy self-sufficiency, either through solar on the roof of your home, joining a community solar project, or by getting a heat pump installed. And finally, thanks to Atmos Financial. Bank better by following the link below. As usual, we would love it if you'd consider supporting us from just $1 a month on Patreon, or about $10.08 a year. There have, unfortunately, been a bunch of people complaining of late that we are begging for money in this segment, but it is worth reminding you that we chose to operate a primarily viewer-supported model as it allows us to keep editorial impartiality while simultaneously ensuring the output is free for everyone to consume, which is something we feel passionately about. That said, without support from those who can, we wouldn't be able to do this, so if you already support, thank you, and if you don't yet, please consider it. If everyone who watched and was able to support did so at $10.08 a year, we'd be able to do so much more. This past month, we chose to hire a vehicle we couldn't get on review from an automaker. The review is now live, the Silverado EV, and it wasn't cheap. And if Patreon isn't your thing though, check out our swag store where there's a new design for the month of April. It, along with the rest of our designs, is there for all of your swag related needs. And of course, we will be back next week as usual with content going out every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. To finish, remember that you are valid and loved and you have a place in this world, even if lawmakers, pundits and all of those talking heads want you to not exist or want to restrict your rights. This year has seen so many of those rights eroded, and sometimes it can be hard to keep on keeping on in the face of that. But no, your existence is resistance. And even if you're not affected by eroding rights, please remember to register to vote and get involved in your local political scene. Have your say, whatever that is, because it's part of the democratic process. So until next time, stay safe regardless of your identity or who you love. Be an amazing ally, be kind, and to please, for the sake of everyone's future, keep evolving.